Hey everyone, welcome to our live health chat, live Q&A. I'm Dr. Amanda, I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I host this live health Q&A to answer any health questions that you have. Hopefully you can hear me better tonight. I know there was some difficulty the other evening just with last time I had my chat, just with some people hearing me. So if you have any issues with hearing me, just let me know. So I host these live health chats just to answer any health questions. So whatever questions you might have, feel free to drop them in the chat and I will answer them for you. And I just kind of keep the chat open to any sort of questions about supplements, health concerns, or anything else. But I will kind of be talking about different things, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, I'm just looking on my computer for a moment. I wanted to talk a little bit about multivitamins. So I'm curious to know, does anybody take a multivitamin? Or have you been told to take a multivitamin? Were you looking into multivitamins for certain things? So I want to talk a little bit about multivitamins. There are so many different multivitamins out there. You know, there's like those one a day, popular ones like Centrum, or just like probably ones that you can find at Kirkland. So things I would recommend when looking at a multivitamin is what is the form of the vitamins that you're getting. So vitamins can come in different forms. Like, so for example, B12 is a pretty common vitamin. It can come in different forms. So it can come in the methyl cobalamin form, can come in the hydroxycobalamin. So different forms of the vitamin impacts the way that your body absorbs them. So if you're looking at something like B12, looking at a methylated form of B12 is usually a better option because it's going to be that activated form. So when something's methylated, it means it's activated. So when you're looking at something like B12, getting methylated B12 can be beneficial because your body doesn't have to worry about activating it on its own. Same thing kind of goes for folate. So folate, you'll see it maybe listed as folic acid, but if you're looking at a methylated folate, you'll see the methyl tetrahydrofolate, and that one is the activated form of folate. So methylated B12, methylated folate are going to already be activated. So your body, if it doesn't have that gene, or it has difficulty with doing that activation process, then getting the methylated form is going to be a better option. So that's one thing to look at when you're looking at your multivitamins, to see what type of form of these supplements are in there, and are you getting a good quality form? Are you getting that methylated form? What else? The amount in each multivitamin. So usually when you're getting something in a multivitamin, especially if it's like a one a day, it's probably just giving you like the bare minimum, because to get the proper therapeutic dose of all of those vitamins and minerals, you would have to take a lot. Like, you would have to take a lot of these capsules or tablets in order to get them the good high dose of these supplements. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're getting a multivitamin. It's really just giving you probably, if it's a one a day, just like the bare minimum of just some additional vitamins and minerals. So is that really worth your money to take something like that? Or would it be better to choose like specific vitamins or minerals that you need depending on what condition you're trying to, help out with, and then maybe taking ones that are at higher doses? So like, let's say for example, selenium. Selenium is a good one to talk about. I was talking actually about this with the patient today. So selenium is a mineral, and we really can get this through diet, but a lot of times if we're looking at like the therapeutic dose of selenium, it's around 200 micrograms a day. And selenium can be really helpful for antioxidant support, immune health, and thyroid health. So really good for thyroid, any autoimmune disease. Selenium is going to be great. So if you're looking at your multivitamin of selenium, maybe it's only having 100 micrograms, maybe it has less than that, maybe it has 30, 40, 50. I'd encourage you to have a look to see how many micrograms are in there, and it's probably not going to be the higher dose or the therapeutic dose. So if you need this multivitamin for whatever XYZ symptoms you have or whatever condition you're taking it for, maybe you need to take additional selenium. For example, that's just selenium, but there's so many other vitamins and minerals. Okay, so just if anybody's just joining on, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I host these live health chats to answer any health questions that you have. So feel free to drop them in the chat. Let me know what your questions are and I'd be able to answer them. Thank you so much for the likes and for joining our health community here. I really do appreciate it. It does really help get the video noticed across YouTube. So tonight I was just chatting a little bit about multivitamins, different supplements, but if you have any questions about labs, health conditions, other types of supplements, just drop them in the chat and I'll be able to answer them for you. Okay, so in terms of the multivitamin, yeah, looking at the dose of the multivitamin or the vitamin that's in these. Another one could be magnesium. Magnesium is a very common mineral, really good for helping out with nervous system, for helping out with muscle tension, migraines, immune support, blood pressure, blood sugar. Magnesium is great, good for so many different things, and there's so many different types of magnesium. So if you are taking a multivitamin, what type of magnesium is in there? Is it just like magnesium oxide, which is typically used as a filler and not really the best magnesium, doesn't have many benefits? So I just really encourage you to look at the label of your supplements, because especially with something like multivitamins, if you're just hopping on, I was talking about how it might not be worth your money to be buying these multivitamins if they're just a low level of these supplements, the dose of these supplements. So maybe getting, if you want magnesium, getting a magnesium supplement that's at a more therapeutic dose, that, around at least 100, 200 milligrams. You can go even higher with magnesium. Possibly in your multivitamin, you only might be getting, let's say, 40 milligrams of magnesium, and that's not really much. And then looking at the form, so what's the form? I was talking about how B12 and folate, having the methylated form of those is just going to be easier for your body to absorb it because it's already activated. Some people don't have the specific gene that can activate these. So looking at like the breakdown of the vitamins and minerals in your multivitamin is really helpful to know, is it worth it to buy it, or should you buy things individually? On the topic of magnesium, let me know if you had any questions about which type of magnesium might be beneficial for you. The one popular one I usually recommend is the glycinate. So the magnesium glycinate is really good for nervous system. So if you feel stressed, anxious, if you feel tense, if you just want like some general nervous system calming your body, magnesium glycinate is good. Also helps out with blood sugar. Magnesium malate is really great for muscles, so for muscle aches, joint pain, muscle tension. The taurate is really good for heart, so that's good for the cardiovascular system, high blood pressure. And then the threonate is really good for cognitive health. So many different types of magnesiums. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions about that. Okay, if anybody's just joining us, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I host this live health Q&A to answer any health questions you might have. So thank you for joining, and thank you for the likes. I do appreciate that. And be sure to subscribe and join our health community. And that way I can answer your health questions and then turn on notifications so you get notified when I go live. Okay, let's answer some questions. So there's a question about iron deficiency. Any vitamins or supplements for that? Or should I get an iron infusion or see a hematologist? That's a great question. So for iron deficiency, the first thing I always think about this is like, why are you iron deficient? Like, what is causing your iron deficiency? Are you bleeding for some reason? So, could there be blood in your stool? Are you having like a lot of inflammation in your gut, and then that's causing you to have bleeding in your stool. So could you be losing blood that way? Are you having really heavy periods? If you're female and you have your period, are you having really heavy periods? That's a really common reason why women have low iron, is that they have heavy periods. Or another reason could be like, are you not absorbing and digesting your iron well through your diet? So like, let's say you're not bleeding, you're not having heavy periods, maybe you're not having hemorrhoids or anything that can contribute to losing blood. Well, then potentially, are you not having enough through your diet? Are you like vegan or vegetarian, where iron is usually on the lower end? Or if you're not, then the iron that you're getting from meat, are you not properly digesting and absorbing that? So that's the first thing I would look at, is seeing like, why is your iron low, and how can you fix that? Because let's say, you're just losing excess blood. If you have really heavy periods or something like that, then you'd want to make sure you're taking enough iron to offset that. So in that case, I would say look at, ruling out what could be causing your iron deficiency. And then definitely iron supplements can help out. So iron supplements are good for helping to replenish iron levels. Always looking at what type of iron is. There's different types. There's heme and non-heme. And then iron plus vitamin C can be really helpful for absorbing the iron. So adding some vitamin C, some B12, some folate all together can be good for the iron absorption. And then the second part of the question was, should you get an iron infusion or see a hematologist? So if your iron levels are really, really low, so that would be looking at things like your ferritin levels on your blood work and also your iron. If they're very low, then potentially you might need to do an iron infusion. If you have absorption issues, so if you have a lot of issues with your gut and you can't absorb your vitamins and minerals that well, then you may need to do an infusion. Kind of similar to like B12. Sometimes people just have poor gut health and they can't absorb B12, so they have to do B12 injections. So if you've been taking an iron supplement for a while and your iron levels aren't budging, then maybe an iron infusion you might need to do. All right, if anybody's just joining us, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I host this live health Q&A to answer any health questions you have. So just seeing some people hop on in the chat saying hi, so welcome. If you have any health questions, drop them in the chat. I'd be able to answer them for you. And then, of course, if you are new here, be sure to subscribe and join our health community. Turn on your notifications so you get notified when I go live. And thank you, everybody, for the likes. I appreciate that. Okay, there's a question about, can you buy magnesium over the counter, or do you need a prescription? Yeah, you can definitely buy magnesium over the counter. A lot of supplements, health food stores, you can buy them online through things like iHerb and even Amazon. Just always making sure, you're getting it from like a good quality source. If you are buying supplements on Amazon, then you want to buy it from like directly from the company, from the seller, not from like a third party. So that's just a tip for when you buy supplements online, just being cautious. There is supplement stores, so you can definitely buy magnesium there as well. And generally you'll be able to find the different types of magnesium. Sometimes it will tell you like on the bottle what it's for. So like, for example, magnesium taurate, as I mentioned, that's good for the heart. It might say that on the bottle. Like magnesium glycinate might say also this is good for the nervous system. But yeah, there's so many different brands, so many different types of magnesium out there. Yeah, there are many brands out there. Yeah, so there are many different brands of magnesium out there. Okay, there's a comment about vegetarian. Well, I was talking about vegetarians before, if potentially can have lower levels of iron. You can definitely get iron through things like your vegetables, like spinach, broccoli, kale, nuts and seeds. Just have to be a bit more mindful of how much you're getting. Okay, so if anybody's just joining us, welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. This is a naturopathic health Q&A. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I answer any health questions that you might have, so feel free to drop them in the chat, whether that be things about supplements, vitamins, minerals, labs. I started off talking a little bit about multivitamins and just how I think they're not might not always be like the best option for a supplement, because one, they might not have the high quality form of vitamins in there, and then two, just the dose of them. So, you know, if you're taking a multivitamin just as an additional support, then that might be helpful, but it could even have things in there that maybe you don't need to take. So just something to keep in mind if you're looking at a multivitamin. Another good point about a multivitamin is something like vitamin D. Usually what's in your multivitamin might not be enough. Usually vitamin D in multivitamins have about 1,000 international units. So that's usually just like kind of like a very low standard dose of vitamin D. Generally, most people need more than that, maybe 2,000, maybe 4,000. So whatever's in your multivitamin might just be on the lower end. What else? In terms of like multivitamin gummies, that's another thing I'm not usually a fan of. Like gummy supplements, I'm just gonna say it, I'm not really a fan of them. And the reason being is like it's hard to get that therapeutic dose or like that good dose of your vitamin or mineral, whatever it is, in a gummy form. You probably would have to take a lot of gummies, and then at that point is like how much sugar, whatever excess stuff are you getting in there. So if you really needed to do gummies because you don't, you know, do well with pills or capsules, then it's probably going to be better than nothing. But maybe looking into different forms, like a liquid form or even powder form for something. So like magnesium, for example, you can get it in a powder. It's pretty easy to get in a powder. You mix it with water. Vitamin D, you can get it in the liquid form in the droppers, which is actually really, really good because usually it's an oil. So anything that's in a fat, like any type of vitamin D that's going to be in a fat soluble form, is really good for absorption. All right, I'm just going to answer some questions. So anything to help with GERD besides pills? Yeah, things to help with GERD. So chewing on licorice root. So you can find tablets. They're called like DGL tablets. This is a form of licorice that can help with soothing the esophagus and soothing the stomach. So that would be one thing. Or I guess you meant besides pills, other than even supplements. Yeah, a big thing with GERD is just having smaller meals, because anytime your meal is going to be a larger meal, it's going to put more pressure on the top of your stomach where your esophagus is, and then it can cause that reflux. So having small meals, really making sure you're chewing your food well, like you want it to be like really mushy when you're chewing your food, because anytime you're eating something really fast or you're not properly digesting it, it's going to cause more reflux. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And then trying not to lie down after you eat. So your last meal, let's say you want to have it at least 2 hours before you go to bed at nighttime. Again, because lying down can just increase the reflux. So yeah, those are some tips besides pills that I'd recommend. Okay, if anybody's just joining us, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I host these live health Q&As to answer any health questions you have. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We can talk about supplements, herbs, what else, lab tests I talk about as well. So anything that you're curious about, just let me know. I was talking a little bit about multivitamins and just vitamins and minerals in general, how you want to make sure you're getting good quality, appropriate doses. I was talking about vitamin D, how usually 1,000 units is not that much for vitamin D. So if you're looking at a supplement, you probably want it to be somewhere around 2,000, maybe 4,000. But always getting your vitamin D levels checked, and then that way you can know how much you need. In terms of things like magnesium, selenium, I was talking about that. Any of these vitamins and minerals that are in a multivitamin are usually on the lower end of like how much is in them. So sometimes you might need to take an additional supplement, or just don't do the multivitamin and do individual things, like individual magnesium, vitamin D, a B supplement if that's what you need. Okay, anything to help with fatigue? Yeah, great question. I'd say there's like so many things kind of to help with fatigue. Like if you're just having, general fatigue and you want some support, you can look into doing some adrenal supplements that contain different herbs. One thing that can be great for helping out with fatigue is a B complex. So a B complex contains your B vitamins, and usually with a B complex, it's at a good therapeutic dose. Get the methylated form, so that's the activated form. And B vitamins are important for so many different processes in your body. Really good for helping out with mental clarity, focus. Yeah, B vitamins are great. So maybe a B complex, or maybe some sort of adrenal supplement that has different herbs in that to help out with energy. If you are feeling really fatigued though, I'm always for looking at like what's the root cause of this, like why are you fatigued? Is your iron low? Is it a thyroid issue? Are you not sleeping well? Do you not move around enough? How's your diet? So there's so many things that can play into that as well. All right. For the gummies for melatonin, do you think these work, or should you recommend pills? Yeah, that's a good question. Probably like melatonin, you probably can get enough melatonin in a gummy, because generally with melatonin, you really only need like 1 to 3 milligrams. You shouldn't really be taking more than that. So probably gummies have that. Whereas I was thinking more of something like, let's say, magnesium or calcium, where you need to do like 300, 400 milligrams. You're usually having to take more. You'd have to take a lot of gummies for that. So great question. Okay. Yeah, the melatonin gummies got you in a deep sleep. It was hard to wake up. So yeah, I'd see, like, I'm curious to know how much melatonin would have been in that. Maybe it was too much for you. And you didn't need that high of a dose. But yeah, melatonin can sometimes make people feel groggy. It can also sometimes cause people to have like really vivid dreams. Those are some side effects of melatonin. Okay, so if anybody's just joining us, hi and welcome. I am Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I host this live health Q&A to answer any health questions that you might have. So feel free to drop them in the chat. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate that. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe, join our health community, and turn on notifications. That way you get notified when I go live, and that way I can answer all your health questions. Okay, there's a question, how to gain more muscle, and then I think the comment was protein. Yeah, so so for how to gain more muscle, so one thing that's going to be really helpful is strength training. So by putting strain on your muscle is going to help your body build more muscle and help it grow. So that would be a combination of doing weights. So that would be like, you can do free weights like dumbbells, you can do the machines, you can do the resistance bands, or even if you also just do body weight, depending on where you're at in your fitness journey to get started. Any type of exercise that you're going to do, putting the strain on the muscles, is going to help build muscle. And then to kind of keep up with that, yes, protein is great, because protein has amino acids, and amino acids are the building blocks for helping out with building muscle. So you might need to increase your protein intake. Also, just increasing like the volume of food that you eat in terms of like good quality food. So good quality fats, protein can help improve that. Okay, so you're asking through diet. Yeah, so I would say definitely looking at protein. How much protein are you having, in terms of like your body weight, seeing if you're getting enough based off of your body weight. It's better to try to get protein through whole food sources like meat, eggs, dairy like cottage cheese and Greek yogurt are good sources of protein, eggs, egg whites. But you may need to do supplements like protein powder or protein bars, but always trying to get through your diet first. That's going to be helpful for building muscle. If you're somebody that's really active, making sure you're getting enough calories also is just important, because if you're very active and then you're not having enough calories to meet that need of your physical activity, then you might then be burning off more calories and then you could be burning off calories that your body could use to build muscle. So let me know if you had a follow-up question about that. and then I will answer it. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. Anything to help with migraines or herbal teas to drink when I feel headaches? Yeah, so magnesium's great for migraines, and vitamin B2 and CoQ10 are usually commonly used for helping with migraines. And then we said herbal teas. Herbal teas, peppermint sometimes can help a little bit with migraines or just headaches. Even like rolling peppermint essential oil can help out a little bit with that. But not much other than peppermint, and I don't think it's that strong to get rid of a migraine. Maybe maybe a headache, but not migraine. For migraine, it'd be more so of preventing it. So magnesium, staying really hydrated is important. CoQ10, B2. And then, is there a risk of constipation if I'm taking more protein? Yeah, I would say protein can be a bit hard to digest. So that's a great point. Yes, there could be some constipation or just slowed down digestion. I think that varies from person to person, especially if you're doing like high protein shakes as well, and depending on the form of protein. I did a couple days ago, or maybe it was last week, I did a supplement Q&A and I talked a lot about protein powder, so maybe go check that out because I talked about the different types of protein, like whey versus beef isolate versus plant-based. So if you are going to be doing a protein powder, maybe you need to try one that works better for you. And through your diet, so let's say you do notice like your digestion slows down with increasing protein, you could also do a digestive enzyme to help your body digest it. So protease is the specific enzyme that helps with digesting protein. Lipase helps digest fat. So and then amylase digests carbs. So there's different types. So maybe just a general digestive enzyme to help your body digest that extra protein. You can even do things like apple cider vinegar or lemon to help also anything that's really bitter. So yeah, good point about the constipation. Is there any way to get supplements for caffeine instead of drinking coffees? Yeah, you can take caffeine pills. Like there are actually caffeine pills that you could take. So that's one thing. And then the other thing would be, other than caffeine pills, you could potentially do like green tea extract as well, or even just doing like, if you don't want to do coffee, even doing like green tea, matcha is high in caffeine versus green tea or a black tea. But yeah, other than like getting caffeine, most likely just be through caffeine pills. And yeah. All right. Okay, so if there's any questions or if anybody's just joining us, hi and welcome. I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I host this live health Q&A to answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much for the likes. I appreciate that. It does help get the video noticed across the YouTube algorithm, so more people can jump on and ask questions as well. And then of course, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe, join our health community, turn on notifications, and that way you can get notified when I go live. I do try to go not live in the evening around 8:30, 9 p.m. Pacific, but if there's ever a time where I come on a different time, if you are subscribed and notified, then you can join me. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. I'll keep the chat open. We had some great questions tonight, so thank you so much for those. I was talking a lot about different supplements and just being mindful of like the type of supplement you're buying. Is it a good quality one? Does it have the therapeutic dose? Does it have the like good form? There's so many forms. I know I talk a lot about magnesium because that's just one I see a lot when I see patients and I just review their supplements. A lot of times they're on like a magnesium that's just not the best quality or the best form. And then you also have to just like be careful when, like I've seen it where I've searched like magnesium glycinate, like let's say on Amazon, and then I pick one, and it says it's on the label, it says, or on the front it will say magnesium glycinate, but when you go and look at the nutrition facts, you'll see that it says like magnesium oxide and then comma magnesium glycinate. So whatever, it's not just glycinate. There's oxide, and then as I was talking about, that one just doesn't have many benefits to it. So always looking at the supplement labels and like doing your research to see if it's good. But yeah, let me know if there's any questions about that. Which college did you graduate from? So I went to school in Toronto. I went to York University for my undergrad, and then for my naturopathic school, I went to the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine, also in Toronto. So yeah. All right. Another point about supplements is the form of them. Generally, the form, whether it be powder, capsule, tablet, liquid, is all pretty much the same, just with certain supplements like your fat soluble supplements. So that's your vitamin A, D, E, and K. Those ones do really well if they're in an oil based, so like a soft gel or a liquid dropper with oil. Because they're fat soluble, they need a fat to be absorbed. So vitamin D, if you're taking one in a capsule, maybe the next time you go buy vitamin D, try to get it in a soft gel or the drops that's in an oil, because you're going to be able to absorb that much better. Whereas something like your B vitamins, that's okay to take in a capsule form because they're water soluble. Okay, question about recommendations for knee and back pain, or any ointments for knee and back pain. So just some general like anti-inflammatory support, like curcumin, which is like turmeric, can be helpful. Boswellia is a herb that can be really helpful for that as well. Maybe you need to increase your protein intake or increase collagen as well. That kind of can be really helpful for knee pain. And then improving your muscle mass can help out with any sort of pain. So like if you have back pain, making sure you have a strong core. If you have knee pain, making sure your quad muscles and your hamstring muscles are strong as well. So always doing strengthening exercises can help out with that. So maybe seeing like a chiropractor or physical therapist. How to get rid of dandruff? Yeah, that's a tough one. Not something that I deal with often. You can do like what do they call, like essential oils topically in your hair. So like mixing tea tree oil, lavender essential oil with a carrier oil like an almond or jojoba oil, and like doing a scalp massage can help out with that. But whenever there's something going on with like the skin, I always suggest looking at the gut health, because a lot of what goes on in your gut can show up in your skin. So whether that be dandruff, eczema, psoriasis, acne, hair loss, anything with your hair and skin, look into your gut health. So maybe you need to do some sort of like probiotics to support your gut health. Maybe there's an imbalance in your bacteria going on. So that's just something I'd say to look into and see if there's anything going on with your gut imbalance. And then doing typically tea tree essential oil can be helpful for dandruff. Dry skin. Okay, so if there's any questions, let me know. If you are just signing on or just joining us, hi, I'm Dr. Amanda. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I host this live health Q&A to answer any health questions that you might have. So if you had any questions about supplements or labs or anything else, just feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll be answering them for you as best as I can. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you for joining our health community and subscribing and joining our YouTube community here. All right, so talked a lot about different, supplements, different things, and different forms of supplements. I know a lot of people ask a lot about, what supplement can I take for anything. So just let me know if there's a certain supplement you're curious about, and I can answer those questions. Another common one is omega-3 fish oil. So that's another really good supplement for the person with the dandruff or the dry skin. Yeah, like omega-3 can be helpful for that as well. Fish oil, again, is one thing you want to make sure you're getting a good quality fish oil. I think I talked about this in my supplements video that I did last week, I think it was. Just making sure, you're getting omega-3s from good sources and good quality, making sure you're taking the proper dose. So a lot of times with supplements, like, you might just be buying these things and then maybe they're not good quality, or maybe they're not the best dose, and then you're just wasting your money on a lot of them. So that's just something to keep in mind. Actually, I'm also a doctor, veterinary doctor. Oh, awesome. Well, that's so great. If anybody has any questions about pets, they can come to you, because I do not know anything for animals. Anything to help with testosterone levels? Yeah, so there's lots that can be, again, this kind of goes back to that thing of, like, if you're having low testosterone or high testosterone, why is it like that? I'm assuming you're asking about testosterone, like improving testosterone levels. So zinc can be really helpful for helping with testosterone. And then you'll find like a combination of different herbs. So if you look at any sort of testosterone supplements, you'll see that they have different ones, like what are they called? Like Tomcat Alley is a common one. A lot of different herbs to help out with that. But really looking at, like, I'd say good quality B vitamins, selenium, CoQ10, and zinc are kind of your top ones to help out with that. Lowering stress, increasing physical activity, improving muscle mass, fruits, vegetables, high protein diet, all of those can help out with testosterone. So I think testosterone does come back down to lifestyle a lot too. And then being mindful of your use of, like, perfumes and fragrances and colognes and scented things, because these things can interfere with hormone levels, also plastics and all that. So that's a whole other topic and can get really overwhelming when you think about the amount of stuff that we just consume and come into contact with. But maybe if you rule everything out, and that might be something left there. Found your live today. Did you come live daily? No, I don't go live daily. I try to go live a few times a week. So that's why I always encourage everybody just to subscribe and turn on notifications. I usually go live around this time, like around 9 p.m. Pacific. So that's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, I don't usually go live every night. So yeah, just subscribe, join the health community, turn on your notifications so you get notified when I go live. Yeah, wow, good to know that. Yeah, there is like a lot of things in our environment that impact our hormone health. It's crazy that there's all these things that are just allowed to be in these products, and then they can just impact us so much. So you really have to just be a mindful consumer of everything that you purchase and whatever you buy, because it can just be a lot. Everything can just add up. The Lysol sprays that we use, or the scented candles, or the soap and the shampoo and all of this stuff. You can't avoid everything, but maybe just some things you can try to minimize. Yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Okay, I'm just gonna hang out for a minute or two more, and then I have to sign off and call it a night. So if you had any questions, let me know. Thank you so much, everybody, for the likes. Thank you for joining and sharing your health concerns and asking questions. And even if you didn't ask any questions, just for participating and listening, I appreciate it. Maybe next time I go live, if you have any questions, I can answer them. And then, as I mentioned before, just stay connected on YouTube and, turn on those notifications. And then next time I go live, I'll be here to answer any questions. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for the chat. And yes. Okay, we should be open and transparent with everything. Yeah, of course. That's why I'm here to help and just, answer any questions. As I always say, it's not medical advice. So I don't know you or your health conditions, or, what supplements, medications, all the things you're taking. So anything you hear from me or anybody else on social media, just double check with your doctor before you start any new supplements or anything in general. But all right, everybody, I hope you have a great night, and I will see you all next time. Bye.